hey, get this. So they have this new COVID vaccine that's a nasal spray, right? It's a first nasal COVID vaccine. There it is. Now, why do I bring this up? Why? Well, because it's just happened. But also, remember when this guy was talking about it?
Antibodies, antivirals. We think we can also have very early in an epidemic a thing you can inhale that will mean that you can't be infected, a blocker, an inhaled blocker.
Oh.
So when I heard him say that, I was like, Bill Gates is investing in this new thing.
Yes.
That's why he's doing this. And because watch what he says next. So now he's got the new thing. He's off the COVID vaccine. He already cashed in his stock for the COVID vaccine. He made $500 million off his COVID stock for the vaccine. While you got locked down and weren't allowed to go to work and make money, he bought $55 million worth of stock that went 10 times in value. And now watch the next thing he says, because he just cashed in that stock. So the new thing is nasal COVID thing because it blocks the infection. But watch this.
We also need to fix the three problems with vaccines. The current vaccines are not infection blocking. They're not broad, so when new variants come up, you lose protection, and they have very short duration.
So now he's shitting on the vaccine, and now he's pushing this new thing. Because I was like, well, he cashed out his stock on the vaccine, and now he's invested in this new thing. Is he invested in this new thing? I don't know. Let's look. This is the Economic Times Industry. Gates Foundation to fund 2 COS for vaccine research. 2 companies, is that what that is? For vaccine research. New Delhi, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will fund 2 Indian firms, Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech. Wait a minute. That's the people doing this. Son of a gun. Bill has a financial interest, just like he had a financial interest in the COVID vaccines. You mean he's not doing this because he loves people? No, he's not doing this because he loves people. Let's remember when Oxford University developed the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine, they wanted to make it available for free. And Bill Gates stopped them from doing that. And now everybody in India hates him, by the way. And I'll do that story maybe on Monday. Why India hates Bill Gates now, and they do. So there it is. Isn't that nice? Isn't that amazing? So if you see him talking, just follow the money. So when he says
antibodies, antivirals, we think we can also have very early in an epidemic a thing you can inhale that will mean that you can't be infected, a blocker, an inhaled blocker.
That I'm funding and investing in heavily. I think that's better. We're going to listen to guys, by the way, not a doctor, not a scientist, not a virologist, not even a college graduate. And he's sitting here talking about viruses and blockers and chemistry and biology that he has no idea what he's talking about. None. No training, no nothing. You know what he has? He has a couple $100 billion. That's what he has. And that's why why do you think he's on this board? Because they like him? He's on this board because he gave them money. He's at this panel because he probably funded it. Why did the WHO have him on boards? Because he funds the WHO. Why is he on panels at the WHO? Because he funds the WHO. He funds it more than countries do. He's their number one funder. He gives it more money than the United States. The WHO. So that's what he has. He has monopolistic power and money. He doesn't have expertise in health. He's not trying to help people with vaccines. He's not trying to help you. He's making more money. He's a maniac. This is what he does. India has approved its first nasal COVID vaccine made by Bharat Biotech. It's administered in a form of drops and stimulates an immune response in the tissues that line the nasal cavity, because that's where COVID goes. In September 2022, China had approved an inhaled COVID vaccine administered in the form of a spray. Scientists say that nasal vaccines may offer added immunity in the lining of the nose and upper airwaves, where COVID typically enters the body. So a lot of people say you put the Vaxx in there and then it goes through your whole. Well, this is where you got to keep it. It's up here. You don't need it other places. Research teams in UK and US have also been investigating nasal spray vaccines. The vaccine will cost 800 rupees or $10 per dose in private hospitals and 325 rupees per dose in government hospitals, and can be booked on the government's online platform. So it looks like maybe $3 or $4. 2 doses are to be taken 28 days apart. In COVAC, that's what it's called, uses an adenovirus as a carrier for the genetic code that teaches the body how to fight the infection. So what it does is it teaches your body how to have natural immunity. That's what a vaccine does. The vaccine stimulates your body to create natural immunity. That's what it does. But you're using a vaccine. So instead of getting sick and then having natural immunity, you get a vaccine and then your body creates immunity. Adenovirus used in the vaccines are harmless transporters which have been modified so they cannot replicate or cause infection. Dr. Krishna Ella, chairman of Bharat Biotech, told ANI News Agency that the vaccine was easy to deliver, as it didn't need a syringe or needle, and that it produced a broader immune response as compared to injectable COVID vaccines. India has administered over 2 billion COVID jabs so far. More than 70% of the Indian population has taken at least 2 doses, according to the Federal Health Ministry. Several U.S. groups are working to develop nasal vaccines for COVID-19, but most are still doing preclinical trials in animals. 2 groups have progressed to studying humans, and one of them reported favorable phase 1 results last week. Hey, why is everyone still trying to develop vaccines for COVID? COVID has mutated. It is now Omicron. It is much, 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 much less deadly than the original strain of COVID. It presents as a mild cold in most people. And this idea that people are still afraid of catching it is nuts. And people died from lots of things. And if you die from Omicron, you are going to die of something. If you have a comorbidity and you think you still need some kind of protection from that, I guess you should get the vaccine then. Because the vaccine is safe and effective, and it will slow the transmission of contraction. And it does. I don't know if you know this, but it'll keep you from becoming seriously ill, hospitalized, or dead. That's what it's a great vaccine. My heart swells with pride, 4 times its natural size with pride over how good this vaccine is. Does your heart swell with pride over how good the COVID-19 vaccine is?
It sure does, Jimmy.
Lots of people's hearts are swelling with pride all over the place from their COVID vaccine, over their COVID vaccine. Go to jimmydore.com to see my new stand-up special, COVID Lies Are Funny. For only $10, you get to become a premium member too. And come see us do our live shows. We're going to be doing stand-up comedy in Milwaukee, Nashville, Honolulu, Los Angeles, Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, New York, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, Connecticut, Baltimore, Maryland, and more. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.